Most daughters get invited home for Christmas to share a meal. I was invited home to be the staff. Imagine saving for an entire year 365 days of overtime, cold coffee, and missed social lives just to afford 5 days of silence on a beach. Now imagine your own mother calling you, not to ask what you want for dinner, but to tell you she's already promised your life away to someone else. Jessica, it's settled, she had said, her voice dripping with that toxic kind of cheer. Your siblings need a real break, so you'll be handling the 5 grandkids while we host. It's the right thing to do, the right thing in my family. Those 3 words were a death sentence for my own happiness. Because I didn't have a husband, because I didn't have kids, my time was treated like a public commodity free for the taking and infinitely adjustable. I was the flexible one. But as I stood in my apartment 2 weeks before the holiday, looking at my non-refundable plane ticket to tropical paradise, I realized something that made my blood run cold. If I didn't say no now, I would be babysitting my way into my 50s while my life passed me by in the reflection of someone else's Christmas ornaments. I didn't argue. I didn't scream. I just let the silence hang on the line. My mother took that silence as a yes. She always did. She started talking about matching outfits and chaos-free photos, unaware that the foundation of her perfect holiday was built on a lie I was no longer willing to tell. The group chat began to explode with gratitude, not for me, but for the relief I provided. Thanks, Jess. I really needed this. You're a lifesaver. They weren't happy to see me. They were happy to use me. They had already moved me like a pawn on a chessboard before I even arrived at the game. But I had a secret. A suitcase hidden in the corner of my room, packed with sunscreen and a swimsuit. Not sweaters and diapers. I was about to pull the rug out from under the perfect family Christmas. And for the first time in 27 years, I didn't feel a single ounce of guilt. But I knew the moment I sent that final message, there would be no going back. The war was about to begin, the trap was set, and the beauty of it was that I didn't have to do a thing. I just had to stay quiet. For the next 10 days, I watched the family group chat turn into a monument of my own exploitation. My sister was planning a mom's-only spa day on the 24th, my brother was scouting golf courses, and right in the center of it all was my mother, the conductor of this orchestra, typing, "Don't worry, Jessica will have the kids at the house by noon. We can all finally relax." Every like and heart on that message felt like a slap. Not once did a single person text me privately to ask, "Hey Jess, are you sure you're okay with this? Or can we pay you for your time?" To them, I wasn't a sister or a daughter. I was a service member, a free 24/7 child care utility that came pre-programmed with a sense of duty. I called my best friend Martha, my voice shaking. "They're already spending my time, Martha. They've spent every hour of my vacation before I've even clocked out of work." Martha's voice was like ice. "Because you let them, Jess. You've been the reliable one for so long that they've mistaken your kindness for a lack of ambition. They think your life is empty because it doesn't look like theirs." That hit me harder than any of my mother's guilt trips. They thought my life was empty. They thought my quiet apartment and my career goals were just placeholders until I grew up and became like them. The night before my flight, my mother called. She didn't ask how I was. She didn't ask if I was packed. She said, "Make sure you pick up some extra milk on your way here tomorrow. The twins are going through a gallon a day. And don't be late. We have a 1 p.m. lunch reservation." "Mom," I said, my heart hammering against my ribs. "I told you I had plans, and I told you to stop being dramatic." She snapped, her voice sharpening. "We are a family. We sacrifice for each other. Now don't pull anything, Jessica. I've promised everyone a peaceful Christmas." She hung up, confident that the invisible leash of guilt would pull me right to her doorstep. But as I looked at the check-in successful notification on my phone for flight 402 to the Caribbean, I realized the leash had snapped. I went to bed at 9 p.m. I didn't reply to the group chat. I didn't buy the milk. I woke up at 6 o'clock a.m., the sun barely hitting the pavement, and rolled my suitcase out to the curb. I was at the airport, sitting at the gate with a croissant and a mimosa, when the first "Where are you?" text arrived. It was 11:30 a.m. My family was at the house, waiting for their servant to arrive. The storm was officially making landfall. The first text was a ripple. By noon, there was a tsunami. 11:45 a.m. "Jess, where are you? The kids are already here and it's chaos, my sister." 12:10 p.m. "Jessica, we're leaving for lunch in 20 minutes. Get here now, my mom." 12:30 p.m. "Are you okay? We're waiting, my brother." I sat in the terminal, watching the dots dance on my screen. I waited until the final boarding call echoed through the speakers. Only then did I open the group chat. I didn't type a paragraph. I didn't offer an excuse. I simply uploaded a photo of my boarding pass and a picture of the palm trees on the airport's digital welcome display. I typed, "I told you all weeks ago I had plans. I'm currently boarding my flight. Have a Merry Christmas." The silence that followed lasted exactly 45 seconds. Then, my phone didn't just buzz, it screamed. My mother called. I answered. The background noise was a symphony of disaster, a toddler screaming for a juice box, the crash of something ceramic breaking, and my mother's voice, high-pitched and trembling with a rage I'd never heard before. "What is wrong with you?" she shrieked. "You are at the airport. You are leaving. Your sister is crying. The twins have already broken a vase, and we have nowhere to put them. You are ruining everything." "I didn't ruin it, Mom," I said, my voice eerily calm as I stepped onto the jet bridge. "You did. You built a house out of cards and expected me to be the glue. I told you I wasn't coming. You just chose not to hear me. You are being selfish." She yelled. "We are family. Family asks, Mom. Family doesn't demand. You didn't want a daughter today. You wanted an unpaid employee. And I quit." I hung up. As the plane taxied toward the runway, I took one last look at the group chat. It was a war zone. My brother was blaming my sister for not booking a sitter. My sister was blaming my mom for lying about my promise. The peaceful holiday had turned into a circular firing squad. For years, I had been the shield that took all those bullets. Now, for the first time, they were hitting the people who actually fired them. I switched my phone to airplane mode. The engine roared. The wheels left the ground, and as the suburbs of my hometown shrunk into tiny, insignificant squares below me, the weight on my chest, a weight I'd carried since I was a child, simply vanished. But I knew that landing wouldn't be the end. I had escaped the house, but I hadn't escaped the aftermath. They were currently drowning, and when I turned my phone back on and for hours, I was going to see exactly how ugly a perfect family can get when they lose their favorite scapegoat. When I finally turned my phone on, the screen went black for a full 10 seconds from the sheer volume of notifications. 37 unread messages, 14 missed calls, 5 voicemails that I knew, without listening, were filled with tears and accusations.
I scrolled through the photos they'd posted in the heat of the moment. My mom, looking haggard with a crying toddler on her hip. My sister's ruined aesthetic Christmas dinner, frozen pizzas on fine china, because no one had time to cook while chasing 5 kids. They looked miserable. And for the first time in my life, I didn't feel the urge to apologize. I spent my Christmas Eve watching the sunset with a book and a glass of wine. No one asked me for a snack. No one wiped their sticky hands on my dress. No one told me my life was flexible. For the first time, I wasn't the reliable one. I was just me. 2 weeks later, the dust had settled, and the silence from my family was deafening. Finally, my mother called. She didn't lead with a yell this time. Her voice was small, weary. "It was a disaster, Jessica," she whispered. "The kids fought the whole time. Your brother and sister left early. I didn't realize how much I depended on you to keep the peace." "Mom," I said, "you didn't depend on me. You used me. There's a difference." The silence on the line lasted a long time. Then I gave her the new rule. If you want my time, you ask. If I say no, that is the end of the conversation. If you ever tell the family I promised something I didn't agree to again, I won't just skip Christmas. I'll skip the whole year. It wasn't a speech. It was a boundary. And it worked. A few days ago, my sister texted me. "Spring barbecue at my place. No babysitting duties. I've already hired a local team to help. I just want you to come and eat. You in?" I looked at the message. I looked at the quiet, sun-drenched living room of my apartment. I realized I had finally earned the one thing they had been stealing from me for years. Access. My presence was no longer a guarantee. It was a privilege. I typed back. "Maybe. I'll let you know if it fits my schedule." I put my phone down and walked toward the balcony, letting the fresh air in. I didn't ruin Christmas. I just ended the version of it where I didn't exist. If you're the person your family always leans on until you break, remember this. You aren't a lifesaver. You're a person. And you're allowed to stop being the cushion for everyone else's full dot. If this story hit home, hit that like button. Subscribe to Whispers of Love for more stories about finding your voice and choosing yourself. And tell me in the comments, have you ever had to say no to save your own sanity?